Hello everyone, this is Christmas Day and I want to share with you a tradition which started 25 years ago when my father-in-law Bob visited us as a young family to spend time with grandkids, and the Christmas Eve he woke up in the morning and said, "We're going to cook a wonton soup today. I'm going to go and get all the ingredients." We didn't know what to think. He brought up a bunch of ingredients which were needed, and I will talk to you about these ingredients in a moment. But the bottom line was, we cooked together, we prepared wontons. It tasted incredible. We remembered that dish so much that a year later we reproduced it and it worked well. Slowly it evolved over years as our kids became teenagers. They were participating in assembly of these wontons. It became more and more family tradition. I'm glad to tell you that it's just two of us today celebrating, but our kids who are on the East Coast making their own versions of this dish. And one of our sons cooked yesterday wonton soup using vegan ingredients, and it worked well. They enjoyed it tremendously, shared with us pictures. Here you can see them. So let's talk about key ingredients. We have 2 pounds of chicken, 2 pounds of shrimp, 2 pounds of pork. We have green onions, watercress. Here we have cilantro, incredible combination with ginger and garlic, snow peas, water chestnuts, canned water chestnuts, garlic, wonton wraps, sesame oil, very important ingredient, some of the flavoring for the broth. So among vegetable ingredients, one of the noteworthy ingredients, watercress adds just incredible spiciness as well as flavor, which is hard to describe. So first we're going to mince small portions of meat, about a pound. The goal is to create relatively small pieces of meat which will mix well together, but not to over mince it. The meat is minced, but it's not pulverized to complete mush. So in this recipe, we're also adding green components to the filler. This is watercress, which I added already to water chestnuts, green onion, cilantro, ginger, and garlic, about 5 to 6 cloves of garlic, in total about 12 cloves of garlic. This is quite a bit of meat, so altogether you could scale it and per taste. So now we're going to chop it and add it to the filler component. So it's chopped pretty finely. There are very few loose pieces, which not going to affect. In fact, it would be interesting to find them inside of wontons, so you could see texture is tiny small pieces. They would look beautiful with the pink shrimp when we cook them. So let's mix them up together with the meat filler. I like to clean as I cook because that not only frees up the sink for the next step, but also it's a good use of time, especially when you started one part of the process and waiting for it to be completed and you don't want to walk away from the stove, for example. Cleaning, and it's nice to find yourself at the end of the food preparation with everything ready. You just eat it, the sink is empty, you put dishes into the dishwasher, and you could relax and enjoy post-prandial rest. Well, now salt and pepper is to taste. You could use a spoon or some type of tool. I find that for mixing meat particularly, hand is the ultimate instrument. It allows you to do all kinds of motions. You feel the consistency of your preparation. This is fairly well mixed, but the consistency is such that you could have a little variations from wonton to wonton, and that's part of the beauty of this dish, that you get slightly different flavor with every bite. Well, we're about to start assembling actual wontons, putting them in wontons wraps. But I want to make sure that we have everything ready. We put hot water on, so we have things ready for bouillon. And I want to cut it and chop it such that the chunks are fairly small, but also you could see them. It's not just some type of pulp in preparation. So as you remember, we've used only half of the green components for the stuffing. And now this is nicely washed ginger. Now I'm going to chop ginger in small slices and maybe half them, a little bit more. I like pieces of ginger tasting in your mouth. That brings awareness of that flavor, distinct from the rest of the flavors. So these are all components for the broth. And garlic. Typically I crush garlic with garlic press for many dishes. But for this particular dish, because again we're trying to make it consist of distinct bits and pieces, I'll just chop it. All the flavor will be extracted from them. And then finally, watercress. Watercress, very delicate, and as you remember, it's one of the components when it's in season and available. It's the one to have for all kinds of dishes. There's no better way to bring freshness to any dish, especially Asian dishes. It's the trademark component. So we're going to use it, and I'm chopping it fairly coarsely so we could see it in our broth. We have our components for cooking together. We'll go to the next step of assembling the wontons. Forgot one seasoning ingredient. This is about 2 tablespoons, maybe 2.5 tablespoons of sesame oil, a little bit more. It's like playing in the sandbox. So in terms of assembly, I put small quantity of filler on each of the wontons, and now I'm moisturizing the edge, and I'm using starch solution. Starch acts as a glue here on 2 adjacent sides of each wonton. And while I'm doing it in batches, it allows the first one to soak in the moisture, so the gluing process works better. So now, as you can see, the meat is actually consists of uniform chunks of each of the meat, and that's very nice when we're actually going to be eating them by tasting each individual meat separately. So, demonstrating on this one, the wetted corner goes to dry corner, and then we're squeezing edges to glue them together. And then moisturizing this tail, overlapping with this tail, and it's ready to go. Well, we're done with this small batch today, just for 2 of us. But a part of enjoyment of this dish is the social aspect of it. When people get together assembling these dumplings, the smell, the aroma of all these spicy ingredients like garlic and ginger and cilantro is just invigorating and stimulating to complete the project so we could cook them faster. So we're ready to put them in boiling water, so let's move to that step. Okay, we have 2 pots of water. One with the bouillon, where we're actually going to make soup, but we first need to blanch them in hot water. And we're putting dumplings one by one in hot boiling water, and they sink. They sink right away, and then they start floating just a few minutes later, unless they drop bubble. And so majority of them needs to float, and that means that they're cooked and ready to be transferred. So as you could see, all of the wontons are floating now. Some of them have air in them. We're going to transfer them into bouillon. We're putting the rest of green ingredients in our bouillon. And because this is mostly for flavoring, there's not a long period of time between this and the final dish being ready. So we'll basically bring it to the boil, give it about a minute, and it will be done. So one last ingredient which I didn't show you, but we talked about it. It's a second can, a second portion, proportion-wise for your recipe, of water chestnuts. No peas go last. Cover the pot. Gently mix. Just to show you, this is what the filling looks like now. It's fairly firm. It's completely cooked, and you see different specks of green as well as shrimp pink. So I think it's an exciting dish. Put it on our plates. Family celebration with a dish like this is only better from year to year. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to share this with you because this is the best gift I received from my father-in-law, and it is with my family and continues as a tradition. So, you know, sometimes you never know. What you do is a little initiative within family. It impacts other people such that it becomes a tradition. So enjoy your family cooking and let me know what your favorite dish is. See you next time.